Hey y'all, it's Krypton Critics. I'm here to review Blade Runner 2049, directed by Denis Villeneuve. It stars Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford, Ana de Armas, Sylvia Hooks, Robin Wright, Mackenzie Davis, Carla Jury, Lenny James, Dave Bautista, Jared Leto, and Edward James Olmos. Uh, so yeah, there's a shit ton of like really good talent in this film, uh, and I was kind of wondering like how would this movie like reflect the original from 1982, or what would it do different, all these other things, like, because I say reusing a plot is not necessarily a bad thing. It's all about execution, and I can hands down say that this movie is fucking awesome. I might have to say that so far of 2017, the films that have come out this year, this is my favorite movie. And it has some pretty good contenders in my book of films I've already seen, like Logan, which blew me away. Just this movie, if not even for like for a second, let's put aside the amazing music and visuals. Just the story alone and how it draws you into this mystery. It's kind of a cop mystery mixed in with the sci-fi elements, of course, because we have replicants and spaceships. Well, not really spaceships, but different kinds of flying machines and giant holograms everywhere. It's amazingly immersive, and it's just insane. Like, this movie is, to say it's outstanding is sometimes, I feel like in many areas of the movie it's an understatement. So I'm going to get into spoilers, and I have my Harrison Ford ready. I know this is Han Solo, but who was played by Harrison Ford. I know it's a different franchise, but they're both sci-fi, and it just helps remind me that Harrison Ford is still one of the best actors out there. And because everything I've seen him in, no matter if the movie is great, good, bad, ugly, whatever, he always puts 110. So the main character of this movie. Now, once again, spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, get your bitch ass out of here. Ryan Gosling plays a replicant named K, and he's a new Blade Runner. Blade Runner, if you don't know from the original movie, someone that hunts down replicants that either the police department or some kind of agency wants retired, which means they want them kaput. So that's Ryan Gosling's job, and it's interesting to see a character that we know for a fact is replicant is hunting other replicants. It kind of makes him seem like like a sellout, but at the same time you gotta think to yourself, well, he is synthetic. How much of his actions are changed by like programming? And that's a big question in the movie is what's the difference between programming and memory? Ryan Gosling is made to look into this mystery of how a synthetic person, essentially a robot, a replicant, could produce a child. And I'm sure there have been plenty of science fiction stories that have tackled this idea. I really haven't seen it on film. Once again, if it is reused, I don't care. But here it is very intriguing. It is the whole time when you're first watching this, you're like, who is this? Who is that? Like, what? Not only are the questions that are being presented, sometimes not non-verbally, just in the situation at hand, it makes you wonder But you're wondering, like, who is the synthetic born child? And you know this happened years ago, and a big part of the mystery is who is it? But Ryan Gosling's character K, he's the Blade Runner for LAPD, and he's trying to uncover some history about himself. At first, he thinks that it's installed and didn't really happen, but then there's like question was, did someone live this and it's just implanted in him, or like how would it be possible that he would be able to grow in age? But I think Dave Bautista's Replicant character very much has aged, because some of the newer models, of the Nexus replicants can age. Now, as soon as Wallace takes over, played by Jared Leto, he would install them to be more obedient to everything that he says. So they won't have any more replicants that they have to hunt down and kill. Now, if you were watch this movie specifically for Harrison, you do have to wait. We get some dialogue from the original movie from him. It was a recording that he had for the replicant Rachel, the one he fell for. But we don't see his actual face until like somewhere around hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours, around that time, I think. I didn't check my watch or anything. Well, not have a watch, but on my phone, because that's rude, and you probably shouldn't be doing that shit in the theater. But yeah, and Ryan Gosling's character Kay has a holographic wife named Joy, and we learn later that Joy, much like in the movie Her, these spoilers for Her, Scarlett Johansson's voice is replicated for so many people around the world. Joaquin Phoenix's character is not the only one that has that girl, but how much of that girl is the same if they have different memories that they remember with their partner. I don't know. Are they considered a different person if now their experiences make them different? Whether or not, some point after we bump into, Deckard, Harrison Ford's character, she gets axed, and yeah, that hit me hard. Because we followed this character so much, and her story was just so gripping, and it really is smart sci-fi when it comes to scenes like that. Robin Wright plays the lieutenant of LAPD, and she's a bit of a crazy, hard bitch, but at the same time, a lot of times it makes sense. But the real breakout character for me, Ryan Gosling, does very well. Harrison Ford does, both of them are amazing in many scenes. But one of the characters I love the most, and I've never seen this actress before, was Sylvia Hoeks. I believe she's Dutch, and she plays the character of Love. She is the assistant of Jared Leto's character. Jared Leto took over Tyrell and named it Wallace. Tyrell was the company that originally made the replicants, and she is just such a evil presence, and she gets shit done. Oh my god! like any scene with her is amazing, in my opinion. There's a good portion of the movie where, you know, Kay, you know, the new Blade Runner is trying to find information whether, you know, his past was real. So he wants some evidence. He remembers that he was a little kid, he was being beat up, and they were trying to take away his little wooden like horse toy that with the same numbers that was on the tree where Dave Bautista was, you know, axed off in the first few minutes in the movie. And once again, shout out to Dave Bautista. He's really coming up as an actor. I know he was he still is, or he was wrestler for quite some time, but you know, I think he's coming on to a new venue, you know, from Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 to Spectre to this. You know, I see some real good potential in him. Anyway, but yeah, same numbers that are engraved, and it's the year that a lot of this shit went down in the story. I believe it's also the same year where we find out that Harrison Ford, you know, Rick Deckard had a child with Rachel, the lady from, well, Replicant lady from the first movie that we see kind of recreated almost perfectly. Well, I mean that I don't mean by the CGI. Well, maybe I could use it for both, but you know, because she doesn't have green eyes. Jared Leto's character Wallace tried to recreate her perfectly to try to break down Rick Deckard's character, but he saw through that shit. And yeah, just so Kay looks for the wooden horse. He tries to find out where it came from. He bumps into some child slavery of an orphanage. I think this is exactly the same place that, you know, Rick Deckard's, you know, at least partially replicant child was raised in. You know, and his child is a woman that implants memories into replicants. I'm like, holy shit. And she was kind of fun, and it was very interesting idea of implanting memories and her being like almost like a fancy photographer artist, and really getting in critiquing of how to make it so real and vivid, and whether or not if it's vivid or if it actually happened even matters, if it just makes you smile. There's a lot of commentary on slavery, sexualization of synthetic peoples, synthetic birth, when is love actually real, because, you know, Ryan Gosling's Kay, you know, he is a replicant, but he falls in love with a hologram. And I know for a lot of the mainstream audience, you know, it might be hard to try to grasp that concept, because, you know, only so often is that explored in, you know, mainstream science fiction. And, you know, a lot of people would just assume that as completely weird or just wrong. Like, a lot of people would try to put that in the same mindset of someone falling in love with, like, an anime body pillow. But, you know, it's an AI, it thinks for her or himself, it's a real person, it's just not physical. I mean, if we can have a movie about a woman falling in love with a ghost, I don't see why it can't be an AI. Like, how is that any different? Now, of course, gotta talk about the visuals. Visuals are fucking amazing. The new Roger Deakins, they're chocolate and peanut butter out of this bitch. You know, they make something that is just so amazing and just breathtaking. It is. Sometimes it's hard for me to explain. Like, when I got this movie, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I just couldn't, and it really stuck with me. And there was long sections of this movie where my mouth was just like, or I'm just like, whoa, goddamn, what's gonna happen? And like, oh shit, fuck, that was intense. Now, now, okay, I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring, and I think Deckard is a replicant. Now, I know in the original movie it was set up to be for interpretation. You know, he had the origami piece. We see James Edward Olmos make another origami piece. He makes a sheep. You know, connects to do robots have, what was it? Robots have dreams about electric jumping sheep, some shit like that. You know, like counting sheep when you go to sleep. And I think he's a replicant because we go to a casino where there's a bunch of radioactive air and dust everywhere. Only bees, a dog, and Harrison Ford survived. I don't know. I think this dog may be a replicant too, because when the bad guys show up and they start fucking shit up, if there was like 2 human guards that worked with the character Love, and they wear gas masks. Now, the characters that don't wear a gas mask are Love, Joy, but she can't actually breathe per se, Ryan Gosling as Kay, and Rick Decker in the dog. So I'm assuming that everyone in this shot, except for those 2 bodyguards that are having gas masks, are replicants. Because I'm under the assumption that if you're a replicant, you can breathe whatever air or lack thereof. I don't think you actually need air. Just your memory banks might say that you have to, but I don't think they have to. And I think if those 2 bodyguards had died, if their max had cracked, I think, I would have even more of a case. But that's nor here or there. It's still open to discussion and debate. Music by Hans Zimmer, Benjamin Wallfisch. Just so many things are amazing and beautiful and well thought out, and to have you ponder. And like the last action scene took me to a whole new level. We see a recreation of Shang Yang as Rachel. That almost got me to tears. Seeing Harrison Ford care for Ryan Gosling's character almost got me to tears. Seeing Joy just kaput, and she's a hologram, made me almost cry. And this movie deserves A+, my niggas. A+. And that's what exactly I'm going to give it. This is one of the best films I've seen, period. I employ everybody to see it. I don't care the fuck. Well, okay. A lot of people may be iffy on this movie, and I understand why to a certain extent. When I was walking out of the theater, there was like older people that I'm sure saw the original movie in the theaters, or just caught it on Blu-ray at some point, saying, it was too long, or there wasn't enough action, or shit like that. And I heard one old man said, I give it 1.5 stars. I'm like, and that supplanted my opinion even more, that how much this movie should be respected and loved, and just seen as just an amazing sequel to a movie that was already so great. And just as the older movie was influential. I would not put it past if there would be many directors that come after this saying that this movie inspired me to do something for my own. And I had to give pretty much everybody a clap for just bringing us together. And yeah, positive Cartoon Critics, you know I love you.